start now.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. So, friends, I have lots of slides to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, keep speaking in the background as I go along, and I will keep briefing you how I started, what I started, and what is my future vision to take it forward. And it's mostly to do with conservation of elephants and the Himalayan waste, how we're tackling it. So here is my slide. So that's the company logo, which we changed a few years ago. And I will talk about my journey to you. So my journey started in conservation in way back in '89 is when I got thrown out of family business because my grandfather was into steel business and I was in charge. He had given me the charge of smelting iron into some of the molds. And the volumes are very large of molten iron, which have to be put into these molds. And these molds could take up to 1 month to make. And they were made out of different kinds of materials and molasses and mud and various things. So 1 month later, when we opened the molds, which were almost ready, and the cupola was burning, and there was a lot of molten iron in that, which had to be poured into the molds. In one mold, I had a snake, and in the other mold, there was a magpie robin's nest. And I said, stop, don't do this. We can't kill the snake, and we can't kill that magpie robin's chicks. So we stopped that entire thing, and the entire molten iron became like a big block of iron, and which went waste. So there was a big loss to the company. I was forgiven, and I was told that this shouldn't happen again. So I said, okay, no problem. 6 months down the line, similar thing happened. And this time it was something else. So I was asked to go and do my own thing very cordially. So I was very happy. I was let off. And that's when I joined WWF Traffic India. And a friend of mine was already working there. His name was Vivek Menon. And his boss was Ashok Kumar. So anyway, let me quickly introduce myself first before I go on further. I am Mohit Aggarwal. I'm blessed with 4 children, a son and daughter, and 2 non-humans, 1 Labrador and 1 escapee African grey. I'm a follower of Shiva. Professionally, I'm an experiential ecotourism specialist. I'm the founder of Asian Adventures, which is a 26-year-old travel company, and it's the #1 bird watching company of India. The company is on a large mission to help Asian elephants with their corridors, free the Himalayas of plastic waste, and help small wildlife NGOs and save the ancient Himalayan shrines. So that's the vision. I've been associated with, a lot of networks, a lot of associations to do their work and to help them out, which I will talk about as I go along. This is a list. Later, I can share that with you. So how did it all started? It started, like I said, that I went to work with Traffic India, where the first ivory ban happened. And this is the man, the legendary man who was my boss at that point of time, the man who had the vision and the love for elephants and wanted to save the elephants at any cost. So he was the one who steered the entire thing of elephant conservation. That's when I understood the importance of elephants. And I'm talking about in the year 1990. So, which is about 30 years from now, back. So that was when we had the first ivory ban in India. And I worked like a decoy customer, and I was sent to different places to get information. And at that time, we didn't care what happened to us as long as we achieved our results. So it sort of moved from one step to another to appreciate the cause of elephants. And ever since, ivory became a banned item in India, and it was under Wildlife Protection Act that it was completely stopped. Then after my interest with Traffic India, I went on to set up Asian Adventures in 1994, and Vivek and Ashok, they left Traffic India, which was then a part of WWF India, and they went on to set up another NGO called Wildlife Trust of India, which is a very illustrious organization in India today, working on Indian rhino, Indian elephant, and animal shelters, wild animal shelters in the Northeast, in Manas and Kaziranga. And they've got projects all over the place, all over the country. Then a few years ago, they came out with this book, which is a Bible in itself, which lists 101 corridors of India that need attention. So some of these corridors can be a few kilometers long, or they can be a few 100 meters long. They could be tunnels, they could be bridges, they could be any sort of corridor moving through an industrial place or a village or any human habitation. And I started to get involved with Wildlife Trust of India to see how Asian Adventures could take the cause forward. The kind of money that was needed to help these corridors was huge. Even now, they haven't achieved the results yet, and we are still working on it. So to protect 101 corridors, which started from 80 plus corridors, went them to 101, which is not an achievement. In fact, it's a threat, because earlier you had only 80 corridors to protect. Now you had 101 corridors, which means that more and more forests got degraded. And then as a tourism company, which has limited bandwidth of finances, we decided that what we're going to do is put 1% of our entire revenue into conservation, and 1% goes into our team welfare. So 1% wasn't enough it wouldn't accrue to that extent that we'd be able to help the entire corridor conservation. So we said, okay, we'll put this money into doing many other things that would then spin off money and possibilities to get money for elephant corridors. And then, so we continue to work with them, and then we also funded with our own money a lot of these boards in Kaziranga and Corbett. You can see that the red line here with our earlier logo on it. Wherever there were elephant corridors, we had these boards there. So my main focus remained towards Corbett Park and some of the neighboring places, because this is a great park for elephants. And it's a huge corridor that links from Rajaji National Park into Corbett, and then further on to Tanakpur Forest Division, and then into Nepal. So it's a big belt. And my interest is that this area gets sorted. At one point of time, we were asked by the government to start helping a small NGO called Corbett Gram Vikas Samiti. It's a small NGO which is run by village lads where Jim Corbett grew up. And they were involved with community tourism. But for 10 years, the government kept giving money to them, and they were not becoming self-sustaining. And 10 years later, the government said, look, either you do it yourself or we are going to stop funding this. And that point of time, we went in and we said, okay, we'll help you for a couple of years. So we set up a little restaurant, which was already there, just did it up, just helped them with marketing, just helped them with various other systems. And then it became self-sufficient. And then years later, that project started to work for Wildlife Trust of India for monitoring their populations that were running through that area. So another slide where they did Gaj Mahotsav, which is to show that they had this huge program in different states of India. I'm also involved with Wildlife Trust of India for their new project called white-winged duck, where they're doing a 9-month research. And white-winged duck is found only in certain areas in the Northeast, but there are habitats where it could exist, but it's just that it's not known. So there's a 9-month research project where I'm trying to help them to find funds and to be able to promote their cause forward. This is exactly what I'm headed to doing right now. So when we completed 25 years is when we took the pledge that we will be helping Wildlife Trust of India with their elephant corridor project, which was year before last. So this is Choti Haldwani, that Corbett Gram Vikas Samiti place that I was talking about, where Jim Corbett grew. This is his museum. These two ladies are from Hong Kong. They're tourists, and you could see the edifice of Jim Corbett in the background. And this is the little restaurant that we set up for them. And you can see that the logo here, it's called Itusa Restaurant. Itusa in non-formal Hindi would mean very little, very small. A small little restaurant in a community tourism project means a lot to them. So we set this up and we helped them for a few years and they became self-sufficient, self-sustaining project. So you can see that the village ladies are sitting here, and you know, Holi is one celebration that happens as a festival of colors, and this group from Hong Kong was participated in the Holi celebrations there. It was really interesting, and they were all singing together, eating together, and this is one such slide from that particular community project. So as I went along, then I became, I joined the board of Asian Ecotourism Network, where I learned a lot. Victor is a part of it as well. And I met people who knew the science of ecotourism, who went into the depths of ecotourism. In India, ecotourism is a misused, I won't say misuse, but there's very little knowledge of ecotourism. You know, ecotourism is treated as anything which is, even if you do two things like not use straws, you're doing ecotourism, or you're doing anything which is, the depths are not considered very well. And so what happened with AEN, I got trained by Masaru Takayama and Professor Alan Wong in STTP by, you know, through GSTC certification. And I started to understand the depths of ecotourism, which I'm still continuing to learn as I'm going along. And I got to meet people who had to showcase their great case studies and great ecotourism initiatives, which I then went ahead and used with Indian bodies like Network for Certification in Conservation and Forest. This is the government body. This is an autonomous body nominated by Government of India to set up ecotourism procedures, SOPs, and criteria. And I am in the working committee. I'm in the working group of NCCF. I also advise Adventure Tour Operator Association, the responsible tourism cell, and I'm helping them build their systems and their, you know, their SOPs, the criteria for ecotourism. And then, like I said, that I also have a mandate to help smaller NGOs which are working towards conservation and social empowerment. So as a management person, I went on to teach a lot of small NGOs and also help them with their digital marketing, automation, and a lot of those processes. So all this information, all this capacity that I gained was because my business demanded it, and I continue to build it for my business, and I continue to teach those who needed me and my help. So this is a social empowerment, women's social empowerment group up in the Himalayas. where the local women from the villages, they produce various kind of products, which are then sold to the markets in Delhi and Bombay and other places. And they get the fair price, cutting the middlemen out. This is another NGO that I worked with for a very short while. And this is, they wanted to save the monkeys in Himachal Pradesh, which is a big problem there in that area. So we tried to do a few things and to automate their processes, which they're using currently, and hopefully they should get successful with that. So then, while this was going on, my concern for Himalayan waste continued to grow, because it was just, it just didn't seem to stop anywhere. You know, wherever the tourism was growing, the trash was all over the place. And then what I also figured out was that, you know, how the young lads wanted to be on the fast track, and they wanted to leave the Himalayas and come to the plains to work and to make a lot more money, a lot more faster. So that sort of brought a lot of damage to their traditional value systems. And a lot of old people were left stranded there. It irked me, it troubled me. So I said, okay, let me do something about it. So while this was happening, trash was another thing that became my focus, and I wanted to do something about it. So I engaged Chintan, Environmental and Research Action Group. They volunteered to work in one village. The idea is to set up that village as the model village for cleanliness. You know, we are still, it's work in progress. Hopefully we should get there one day. And we engaged with them, and then they did a lot of research there with their team members. And they figured out that their findings were really, really fantastic. But their term got over a year and a half later. So we didn't know what to do next, because it wasn't brought to any particular result. So then we got engaged ourselves with Nature Science Initiative, another NGO that if you go to their website, it says do not trash, and they are on Facebook as well. So they understood trash very well in these remote areas. So they understood the impact of trash on wildlife and humans. And they asked one researcher to come and work with us at Pangot. Her name is Gitanjali Katlam. And she started to work on the impact of trash on animals. And these findings were absolutely jaw-dropping, because what we found out was that the microplastics, particles were also present everywhere in every animal, and that sort of scared us. So a lot has happened since then after her research came out, and I'm going to share both the Elephant Corridor PDF file and her research paper with you after I finish on in the chat box, so you can download that there. If you want it later, you can always email me, and I'll be very happy to share that with you. So all this happened in Pangot because I had set up a lodge there, which is India's first birding lodge, called Jungle Lord Birding Lodge. It came up in year 2001, and that's when it started. So we started to work there, because we had a lot of team to help us out with the mechanics of this garbage management. And you can see that this year on January 26th, which is Republic Day, we held garbage collection camps in lots of places, including Pangot and Gir and Jageshwar, where we have our own lodges as well. And so ecotourism trainings happen every week with our teams and the villagers. It's a ritual. It happens every Sunday. You'll just see my team here. So this is one of the lodge people who is now teaching the other people in the village what to do with some basic things. that they need to take care of under ecotourism and trash. So, and then later, without much fuss, Pangot Hotel Association came up, and they started to take on the responsibility of tackling pollution, improving environment, visitor management, building capacity, promote bird and rural tourism, retain and restore cultural and social values. So all this trash thing started when I took up a trek to this the spiritual shrine of Lord Shiva a few years ago up in the mountains. It's at a height of 11,500 feet, which is 3,500 meters. And it's a 21-kilometer trek, which you have to do in one day. And, and then you can stay there for a while. So this is where I figured that all along this pilgrimage route, there was so much trash, and my eyes welled up. I said, I don't know what to do about it. And once we got into the temple, we saw that people were offering plastic flowers, which is against the rule of any spiritualism. You need to offer fresh flowers to the deity or to anything. But they were plastic flowers, which are now, of course, banned. But at that point of time, it was appalling, and I didn't know what to do about it. So I said, I took a pledge. I said, I need to work towards it, whatever it costs, wherever I go, whatever happens, and it doesn't matter how far I reach. So this is my small team of people that run ecotourism, initiatives like garbage and elephant conservation. And they help me strategize. They put up information across to people, and they also then finally filter it down to the associations and the villagers and the think tank of their areas. So another place where we do this very strongly is called Jageshwar, which is up in the hills, which is the spiritual town of Lord Shiva, where we have a lodge. So you can see some of the landscapes and some ancient doors, carved doors, and this is the landscape of that place. It's deep in the Himalayas. And these are the temples which were built between 7th and the 15th century AD. And these are live temples which are consecrated with lingas in them. And these are all old Shiva temples. It's a complex of 124 temples in a short space. It's reverberating with energy, but there's problem of trash because the pandits and the priests, they use now, instead of using fresh milk, they use plastic packets of milk and plastic packets of ghee, which is butter, and then they trash them on the side or into the stream, and that's getting to be a big problem. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to help them by understanding that the spirituality will mean a lot more if you do not use plastics, if you use fresh milk, and if you use clarified butter from home rather than getting it from the shop. This is one of the lodges where we have. It's a Himalayan spiritual lodge. And you can see that again on 26th of January, the entire village, the small part of the village got together and they filled up their sacks and things like that, which were then collected and put into jeeps to send to the incinerators 4 hours down in the plains. Again, another lodge where we have lions. Similar kind of activities keep taking place where we have a very, very energetic, it's called Gir Birding Lodge, where we have a very energetic lady from Nagaland. She's the manager there, and absolutely wonderful, enthusiastic woman who drives the entire cleaning drives, trash and other ecotourism measures all by herself with her team into the village. So you can see another garbage collection drive in the vicinity. So what I've been doing, I've been hosting these webinars since January. We've done about 50 so far. And our job is to bring a whole lot of NGOs to showcase their cause, which they can't do themselves because of our interest in digital marketing. We've managed to reach out to much larger audiences. So we've been helping out various NGOs to through webinars to showcase their cause and to impact people, to help them. So this is what we've done so far. And out of about 50, 12 have been done for the sake of their cause. You know, the NGOs have come forward and said, okay, we want to talk about this thing to the audience. So we then bring people together and through various information channels, and we help them. Then our business model failed because we were hoping to get somewhere in 2025 to contribute 30 million a year by 2025. But because of COVID, our business came to a standstill, and then we didn't know what to do. Then last year in 2020, I said, okay, let's just come up with another platform called Global Wildlife Fair. It's not a fair, it's a global wildlife platform, but we call it fair because it's all about celebration and happiness and things like that. So we came up with this thing which is going to be the marketplace for ecotourism, and which will then have all the money which is there as profit go straight into conservation with great transparency. So Global Wildlife Fair is an online ecotourism portal aiding conservation. Because our business is not going to be able to meet our goals by 2025, we were looking at different methods, and this is what we came up with. So what is it that's going to do? So this is one little screenshot because the work is still in progress and we want people to help us. Anybody who's interested in helping us and joining with this, please do so and reach out to me, and we all can do this together. What is the vision? It's an ever-growing ecotourism marketplace for aiding conservation through financial and physical resources. And the idea is it's on a mission to garner resources to help save endangered wildlife, provide readily accessible information regarding conservation knowledge and species, conservation and ecotourism, create a marketplace for ecotourists, provide a network of jobs, conservation funds and sustainable travel, and you know, so on and so forth. So this is the first cut of the structure that we are going to evolve with by June 2021. That will be fully functional. And so who will be serving? The wildlife stalwarts who will come up and talk about their work through webinars. So there will be free webinar platforms. If people will pay something voluntarily, it'll go straight into the conservation fund. So it's more like a crowdfunding initiative. Conservation workers, experts, researchers, volunteers. It'll also serve ecotourism seekers, ecotourists, conservation travel operators, accommodation providers, guides and naturalists, and a lot of equipment and book sellers, natural history job seekers, journalists, photographers, filmmakers, NGOs. So as we continue to mature, we will keep plugging in these platforms into the entire portal that we want to do, because this money that we make here as profit will go straight into conservation of elephants to start with, or there will be other projects that people can float here and they can draw funds from the people who visit this place. Yeah, so attend webinars, I've already spoken about it. Like I said, that we continue to bring options and opportunities to those who want to listen and want to know more, and people who want to deliver. And we are just the conduits, so it's a win-win situation for everyone. So it's a huge repository, sourced and responsibly produced products. They'll be made available to people. There'll be various NGOs. They can come in and showcase their cause or their products. And there will be networks to network with the right kind of people. If you want to do something in wildlife, then you could go straight to the platform and put in a request and somebody will come back. Just to give an example that the kind of products, that anyone can sell, just a slide. So this is what we are coming up with. Asian Adventures is steering this right now. And very soon, once it's completely matured and is self-sustaining, it will be passed on into independent hands where it will do its own job. So it'll be ecotourism products and services, accommodation, tours, souvenirs. Global Wildlife Fair will also allow sustainable tour operators, eco-lodges to connect with responsible ecotourists and vice versa. It'll also be a learning platform where people will teach ecotourism if they like. Short courses. Ecotourism will providers will also have the opportunity to network with experts for better services. So I put Hitesh's slide. I'm in awe of this man who is an expert on designing eco-lodges across the planet. And I put his slide here, how he works with his spirituality and 5 elements. And he energizes people to and helps them with their eco-lodges. One work that he has done in Australia, I took the liberty of using this photo. So we can then deepen our knowledge with the experts. Research students can exchange notes, and so it's a big playing field for natural history related to ecotourism. Again, the same slide in different ways. So again, if we want to have small fairs or small get-togethers or independent little fairs for wildlife, then for wildlife, the platform will be available for virtual, fair. So if wildlife fair has to be organized, let's say in a small place, then the fair, the entire engine will be available free of cost for those people who want to go and do this. And every registrant, if there's money to be charged, will go into conservation. So it's a platform which is being built to serve that purpose as well. Constant optimization, we'll have to continue to move with technology changes, whatever it requires, because otherwise it'll fall flat, and all that information and the work that we would have put in will go down the drain. So we'll have to continue to optimize it as we go along. Again, a screenshot of GWF right now. It's not the final design, but initially it looked like this. So my interest, this all happened because this was largely to continue to meet our goals of 2025, to be able to raise 30 million for elephant conservation and Himalayan waste. Now, if this engine starts to give that money independently, then the pressure on Asian Adventures is a lot less. And it'll continue to do whatever it has to do in terms of ecotourism. While this engine will continue to aid conservation. For example, pangolins is something which is really in a very scary situation right now. We don't know, what's going to happen to pangolins. So we need to raise funds. White-winged duck, we need to raise funds. And there are many such species which are being threatened across the globe. And this will become then a fantastic platform to draw sources from. So right now we are only 4 people working on it, but there will be more people joining in. I've been talking to many people across the world, and then I'm drawing support from hundreds of people who will help as we go along. Networking is one part of it. That's our motto: tourism for conservation, conservation for tourism. And here it says, "Hum honge kamyab," which means we shall overcome. We will be the winners in the end. And that's the end of my presentation today. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves and it was meaningful for you. If you have any questions to ask, I'm here. Please go ahead.
Hello, Mohit. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah. Yes.
Namaste, 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 Rajendra. How are you doing?
Hey.
Hey.
I'm fine, doing well. Hey.
Wow, you're doing so much.
For wonderful. Yeah, it's a wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We all just have to be all aligned to doing a lot more. The technology has its downside, but it has a huge positive side for conservation as well. So while we can't travel and we can't do many things that we're supposed to do in the field, but all we can do is, you know, set up opportunities for conservation to happen technologically.
The last part you were talking about, the GWF, that's Global Wildlife Fair?
Yes, yes.
When did you say you want to start that program, Raul?
I want to start that by June.
Of this year?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
But it'll be done in phases, Mike. It cannot be, the entire engine cannot be built in such a short time. So we will continue to build and we'll continue to roll out as we get, you know, more powerful here.
Wow. That's a big initiative.
A virtual fair, right?
Sorry?
It's still a virtual fair.
Yeah, it'll always be a virtual fair.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to know, because you have put so much effort doing this, and what do you expect the outcome?
The outcome is that you know, while it sort of builds the numbers of the visitors, they can then we can draw a lot of money, which will be meant for projects, you know, conservation projects, and people will be able to. So it's crowdfunding can happen, CSR, corporate social responsibility funds can flow through this. You know, big sums can come, small independent transactions can happen for tour operators and eco lodges, and the certain percentage that goes as profit for this website will go straight into conservation funds. So it's like if somebody wants to come and park his project there and say, I want this interim project to be done for pangolins, then we need to look for money. So in 3 months' time, we'll be able to secure enough resources for them to take their project forward. You know?
Mohit, Mark here.
Yes, yes.
Will we be getting information on this GWF and how to participate, that kind of things?
Yes, absolutely. So in about by May, we will be rolling out our first partnership, you know, agreements to people who want to come on board, and maybe there'll be a lot of value stacks that we'll be giving for free to people who join in, because we first want to make sure that people who come on board are those people who are going to there, who are genuine and there to stay, you know, because then those are the people who are going to take it further, you know, as we go along. This is not going to be, it's being supported by Asian Adventures, but it'll no longer be Asian Adventures project as we go along. It'll become independent.
It's a big job for Asian Adventure.
Yes, but it's collective. So for me, it's a journey, you know, and we are all in it together. I'm not a bit scared. I am so excited about it. The bigger the job, the more excited I am.
Good.
So please share the information if there anything more on ABF family.
Yes, absolutely. I will be doing it when it's more crisp for people to understand, and they're fine actionables that people can do, and we'll be able to roll that out.
Okay. Thank you, and wish you the best.
Great, thank you. And I think a whole lot of ecotourism companies who have you know, conservation goals at the back of their minds, or part of their goals, company goals, it's important to understand that networking and coming together is a great solution rather than working independently towards any conservation angle. If 10 people get together and they all have their own conservation goals, it's much faster to achieve those goals than to do it completely independently and all alone.
Hi, Mohit.
Hello.
Yeah, I've noticed that you do a lot of teaching.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do online sessions to share how to do the bridging, and also I guess you could almost say it's helping other groups with digital transformation, no? Because you
Yes,
do
because
digital marketing, yeah.
yes, because that is something that we developed this entire setup in 2013 when one of my business gurus told me that if you don't get on to digital platform now, in 10 years there will be bloodbath and you all will be eradicated. So then in 2014 he came back. He says, "I'm sorry, the bloodbath is not going to happen 10 years later. It has already started." So we started to gear up for Asian adventures. But then in 2020, when lockdown happened, I said, "Oh my God, there's so much to us, that we have here in terms of our knowledge repository. Why don't I just roll it out to people?" So I started to teach people because it was so much fun, So whatever I know, I can teach, but what I don't know, I learn.
Yeah, I just, listening to it, I just find it amazing because we're now at the time where it's especially needed because it's a matter of survival for organizations. Yeah, so it's wonderful that you're in that space and you're helping bridge and empower. So what has your experience been so far in trying to transfer those know-how and skills? Is it challenging?
Yes, because the thing is that people are getting carried away with overload of information, especially through Facebook and also through Instagram. So what they're doing is they're spending most of their precious time noticing other people's hard work without doing any hard work themselves. So I am trying to tell them that what you need to do is you need to do your own hard work first. So stop spending so much time on Facebook and Instagram and get into construction of your own digital system. Yes, your own content, because we are just loaded with content. I teach them storytelling. I teach them how to transport it through email marketing. I teach them even how to repurpose them on different places. We are every dream, every man, every woman is a story here. So we can never be short of them.
Amazing.
And if it's wildlife and conservation travel stories, it's even better because it's so interesting. Then, when we were children, we used to listen to bird stories and animal stories, and we have every god and every goddess, as an animal or riding an animal or a bird or something. So we have tons and tons and tons of stories, that we grew up with. So
it's really going back to the basics of storytelling, no? Start with what you know and what's around you, and then share.
Yes. So I really thank Asian Bird Fair, Mike, Victor, everyone here, Mark, to let me speak today and to be able to bring forward my thoughts, my journey to you. And it was really, really wonderful.
Yes, it's really admirable. You've been doing something really great.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, are there more questions to Mohit? Because this is a good opportunity to learn something from Mohit.
Oh, I have to post those two links for people to take home, which they can download. And when you have time, you can go through these links. I'll just put them in the chat here.
Sure. Excellent. Yes. And I'll post it on Facebook.
Yes. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Let's do it right now. Okay.
And we have a friend here from China, Bella. Bella, how are you doing? Yes.
Good doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's great to know that. It's a really difficult time.
Yes, but it's good fun.
Mm-hmm.
When we're complaining, we have to have a roller coaster ride in our lives. So this is one such time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, I post your link on Facebook.
Thank you.
People can learn from you. Okay.
Hey, Mohit, you were telling us about your programs, but you didn't tell us much about Asian Adventures. From what I understand, it's a tour company with a network of lodges. Is that right?
It's a tour company with a network of lodges, and
Throughout
it's
India. Yeah.
India's largest bird watching company, and we've been around for 26 years now. And the conservation goal of this company is in tune with the inclusivity of the team. So as we go along, anybody who crosses 10 years of service in Asian Adventures will become a shareholder, will become a co-partner in the company. So this company will continue to give stakes to people and ownership to people as they continue to work in this company.
Amazing.
It's amazing, yes.
So how many lodges do you have?
So currently, Asian Adventures owns 4 lodges, but we work with 7 lodges otherwise.
Wow. Okay. I hope we can visit your lodges one day.
Yes, please.
They look so nice.
You just need to, whenever the flights open, you just need to come here and just stay put, enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
I've been there, it's really impressive.
Thank you.
You gotta believe me.
Yes, your tour was exceptional. You had that in the monsoon time, you had almost all the species, including a tiger at Corbett and, the elephants and yeah.
And leopard too.
Yes, and leopard too, correct. Yes.
It's always, incredible in India. You guys, it's really incredible.
Thank you. Let's hope we just continue to save what we've got. The modernization and technological advancements and the army, how it works, is acquiring a lot of our natural resources, threatening a lot of species. But that's the same worldwide, at a lot of places. So, at the end of it, it's Mother Earth with a single inhalation. It'll inhale, it'll take us all in at one go. We're just playing around with time. Not a good thing to do.
Yep. So we look forward ABF in India very soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, that we will be steering it very soon.
Yeah.
Looking forward to ABF in India.
Yes, thank you.
True.
It's about time.
It's about time, right? It's about time. Right. All right,
Okay.
Mohit, before we say goodbye to you and all our friends here, Mike, would you please tell us where are we going to next week?
Okay. We're going to Africa next week with Herbert Yaruhanga of Uganda. He'll tell us more about ecotourism in Uganda with a special focus on women in birdwatching.
Women in birdwatching.
Women in birdwatching.
You will listen to his story about birds, about chimpanzee, about gorillas. You know, you'll be really sort of expecting. All right. So thank you, Mohit, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go, let's take a group photo. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
turn on your cameras.
Yes, please.
Uy, Emily.
Audrey, are you still with us? Audrey.
Mark.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
And
oops, I
who's
don't
the one
think
from
Audrey
Taiwan?
is with us. Okay, so look at the camera and
Maya.
3, 2, 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Mohit. It's really a good presentation.
Thank
with
you, everyone, for
from you.
Thank you, Mohit.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Thank you, Mohit, and thank you,
Mohit.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys
Bye.
next week. Same time here.
Yeah, bye.
Have a nice weekend, everybody. Bye.
To and everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hi, Rajendra.
Hi. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Very good.